tall guys, like 6 foot.
Yeah, they're all little.
Are they shorter than you, Ray?
Some of them are. Some of them are shorter.
Y cuando te miran no te dicen, Don, hey, Don.
Yeah, me dicen, they'll tell me, what do you call an árbitro?
Profe.
Yeah, I mean, so I noticed yesterday, right, so I started coaching my son's team, because I don't know how to say no. We can talk about that too.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey Dad, can you sign us up just so we can football, get me back in shape? Sure. So I was there last night, and big difference from the Woodlands and Conroe. But I think that's that has to do a lot with what I put it on. I guess financials. Would you say financials is very, very important?
The training that they get.
I think just financials in general, right? So like I think leagues don't come to Conroe. I mean when I used to play, there was a league here.
Yeah.
There wasn't that many, but now that Dynamo is just down the road, just why play at another league when Dynamo is well known, well recognized? And I think maybe as a business, whoever runs those kind of leagues, coming to Conroe is not very ideal because who's gonna send their kid to play for a season for $1,000 plus raise money plus whatever else they have to do, travel and all that.
Oh yeah.
Well, when you can pay, what is it, like 60 something, 80 something at the
40.
Conroe? 40 at the Conroe League.
40
At
bucks.
the rec.
At the rec. And
At the rec.
I mean, it's a lot of fun, but like the coaches are not very knowledgeable of soccer. Most of them, from what I've seen.
Yeah, my kid's coach said that this was his first time and his kids wanted to play, so
He's just there.
Going
Fun.
at it.
Yeah.
So
That's where I'm at now. I think yesterday when I was there, I wouldn't consider myself a coach, but I have an understanding. So I do what I see the schools do, right? When they warm up or like things that they practice before a game, right? People run, pass the ball, take a shot, things like that. So, I wasn't ready, so I was like, hey, we're going to do this. These guys couldn't even pass the ball to save their life, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to bring it back some. And then we started doing passes. These guys can't even talk. I'm like, what's your teammate's name? And like probably 20 minutes into it, what's your name? Oh, Anthony. Here you go. Hey Stephanie. Here you go. I'm like, dang. Now I need to bring it even more back.
Yeah. Whenever I started with my kid and he was going to start playing, we put him in that summer camp, and they taught him the fundamentals. Like, this is the ball, and you kick it over there, and you have to use your feet, and let's work on just touching the ball with your feet. And then they just touched it, right? Touch. Like, all they did was touch the ball. And then every week it was a progression. Like, okay, now it's about, hitting the ball with your feet. And then now it's about, running with the ball. And they would play the games like, what is it called? Green light, red light. So they run with the ball as fast as they could and then stop. And I think that helped them a lot because once they were in the game, like they knew, like, okay, if you run with the ball fast, it's going to go very far, but in that game, they had to keep it really close. So they played games while learning about the game, and I think that's important. But, you have to be in the camp or know how to do that.
yeah.
So feel free to join me next Thursday to give me some of these ideas. That's a good idea. I think that'll work.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, they ask me to coach a lot every year, and I'm like,
You should.
Yeah.
No.
I think you should.
Not yet. I'm gonna let my kid be a little older.
Yeah.
So then you can be where I'm at, where I have the 12 and 13-year-olds, and I'm like, damn, I should have started earlier so I can help all these kids.
No, I've seen it where my little girl, she's in soccer, and I just wanna. It gets so competitive as well, even if it's the rec, but it's the little kids, and they just know that they all scramble up and try to hit the ball and everything, and
I think it's competitive for the parents.
It gets competitive for the parents.
Yeah,
Because
because right? You know what soccer is, and you know how it's played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you don't see it out there, then you're just like like this isn't right.
Very frustrating.
And like I told the parents yesterday, like, hey, you know, I was like, my name's Ray, this and that. We're just gonna come out here and have fun. You know, it's $40 league. We're gonna have fun. She's like, oh, okay, Kyle. Like, I guess I expected. There's one of them sent me a message, and maybe they're watching. They're gonna be, oh my god. But she's like, hey, I'm so excited. He's ready. He's ready to play. He's been trying to play. He loves soccer, this and that. Y luego vino el chiquillo, and I'm like, esta es la primera vez that he touches the ball.
Yeah, no, I've...
At what age?
12, 13.
That's too old. My opinion.
I don't think it's too old. I mean, that's when I started.
I started too. Yeah, and I thought, you know, I was good, but coming in, I knew I was at a disadvantage whenever I saw Oak Ridge and the Woodlands, and I was like, okay, what am I doing, you know?
Right. I think you have to want it. I think that's the...
Even then.
You wanted it, though. But,
Yeah.
but you got to a better level than...
Right.
And you grind. I'm sure you grind it every day.
Yeah, we played like every day, but it wasn't like at a... I was never like in a team where it was like structured. You know how we were all playing in el barrio or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes that's good enough, I think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
En la Liga Mexicana de aquí de Connor.
Yeah, I don't think it was good enough.
Oh, yeah, that league.
Like if you look at countries like Brazil and Argentina, like that's in their religion. You know, that's in their lifestyle. Like you grow up and you're already playing. I think that's different than what we went through, where it's like, well, you kind of just play wherever.
Right. But I think it was awesome. I mean, I think we were raised with that too. Just our parents weren't. So. You don't think so? I think
if you look at Argentina, like that's like a religion. Like they have the Maradona religion church.
No way.
Yeah, and they think about it as a religion, where it's like soccer. You can't separate their identity from soccer. It's like you can't. It's one and the same.
I did not know.
Yeah, there's a Maradona church.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
to bring that over here then. That's probably what the Woodlands does. That's why they're so good.
No, I remember playing back in Rush with your brother.
Yeah, you
There
played
you
in Rush.
Yeah, Rush.
Yeah.
See, where's that league at now?
They rushed away.
No, I think they got sold off to somebody else.
Probably.
Here.
I remember seeing all the shirts like the
Rush. Yeah.
That kid.
Hey, I played with him.
Got
I used to
money.
play with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just the black and the gray shirts were like 120. The kit, which was the shirt, the shorts, and the socks, 120 each.
Yeah.
And then signing up was like
Adios messed up.
600.
We had to bring him back.
Go ahead.
And yeah, it's like signing up was like 600, and then traveling, if you had to stay like in hotels and everything, was like another extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. And then my mom's like, "You're not going."
Right.
I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm not
Right.
going."
So I think
let's bring it back, guys. Our audio was messed up. Sometimes this little adapter messes up, and right now we're just checking the audio. But what we've been talking about is Conroe League, Conroe Soccer League specifically, and what it takes to be, a good soccer player from when you're born or maybe when you're raised, how that affects, how finances affect your ability to play, and comparing some of the leagues like, Conroe League and the Woodlands League and some of the previous leagues, like Rush, and our experiences in how we see soccer here in Conroe in general. That's what we're talking about. And okay,
there we go. We're good to go. But yeah, I think that's the finances would have to definitely be the key thing. Like we talked yesterday. Caney Creek has a good squad. I don't know if they've played any other place, but they have a good team. But then we have another team like MacArthur, which is in the Alden area, which is full Hispanic. Like I haven't done any game. I did one game in Alden, but last year when I did them, it was a fight. There's always fight. There's a cuss word after cuss word. So MacArthur made it to third round regionals last year. But the difference there, but I think because it's high school, is the coach. So the coach, one of the refs said, "Oh, that coach that's there, he's very, very strict with them.
Mm-hmm.
He's like not like the other ones, and he knows soccer."
right.
And all the other coaches that I've done in Alden, they're football coaches, kind of like what we had. Just like, hey, here's a ball. You have 1 hour for this period. Go play.
Put in the circus.
Go play and then go from there. But I think as parents, if you really want that and you see your kid doing it, it's hard. One, finances, right? Maybe you don't have the money. But two, then it's like finding a way to try to get them there.
Because can you talk about your experience in Rush and how much was like Like basically repeat what you said about the kids and how much were hotels and.
So for Rush, I was in, I was like in the lowest teams because of the finances too.
What does that mean? The lowest teams.
There was like 3 different teams. I think it was
Rush?
like, it was like
Oh, wow.
Blue. One of them was like Blue was like the first division.
it was Swoosh, and then it was Nike, and then the Academy, something like that. So I was always in the lowest team just because it was a lot more fun, I guess, for me.
Right.
Because we for me, I got to joke around a lot more instead of being so serious.
You were goalie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think goalie's a fun role though in general.
it's
But it was pretty expensive, right? Because I remember whenever.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, my parents had to pay for all that, and yeah, it was pretty expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Again, we were Did we talk about the shirts or no? Like
We did, but
the
it was
kits?
the audio was
Okay.
messed up.
So the kits are like $120, $140 each one, which was the shirt, the shorts, and the socks, and then not including the cleats, which were another 100, 200, depends on your liking and taste.
Which
Which more Nikes you
yeah,
got?
as a
With
kid, you want the most
vapors?
expensive one.
The
Yeah.
Yeah.
vapors that Ronaldo had.
Even though the parents are like, "Mira, agarra estos.
Yeah.
También son igual, $30." You're like, "No, you're
Some
kidding."
Bravo. What are they
Yeah.
called?
The older ones, the
Yeah.
black and white ones. But yeah, I think that was different because when I played, I forgot what league it was, but yeah, I mean it was a little cheaper, but I paid for it. And then when we had to travel, it was like Lalo Nava, like his brother. His brother like got his mom's van, and we all jam packed in there and went to Corpus.
Oh man.
And it was like, hey, at least bring like $50 for your food.
Right.
I was like, all right, I think I can do that. And it's like a bunch of kids traveling in a van, very dangerous because there's like 13 of us in a little van.
I remember when I used to play for not for Rush, but before that, I think it was Conroe Soccer. I think it was.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
We had red jerseys, and we used to play with like Oscar, with Willie, with David.
Yeah, they played for a long time.
For like
it was like a Conroe league, right? It was
Uh-huh.
the same, was it the same Conroe? But I
No.
feel like you guys played against
We-
other cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Conroe rec.
no,
No, it wasn't right.
no,
it
it was
definitely wasn't right.
a little bit more advanced.
Yeah, because we would play Belair, we would play spring schools, we would
Yeah.
play Klein schools.
Yeah.
Those were fun because you saw, it wasn't just Conroe.
Right.
It was like you guys would play versus
Yeah, I remember we would play versus the Cobras, which were like our arch nemesis back in the day.
I remember
was it
Scorpions.
like a black team,
The
right?
Scorpions?
No,
No. Okay. We had Scorpions.
they were from Spring.
So whatever happened to that league?
That's a very good question. I mean, maybe it just started dying off.
Nobody
Maybe
know.
soccer wasn't.
But now it's like I heard that there's like 1,600 kids signed up to the Conroe.
Yeah. He
Rec?
said 1,266 players.
That's a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I think everybody wants their kid to be in a sport, right? I think it's very important for them because it teaches them discipline and structure and all the good stuff that they need to learn at a young age that maybe you as a parent don't have the time or the the knowledge to teach them, and you think that one of those coaches can. But I mean, I think the game itself teaches them, right?
Right.
Like teaches everybody. Like the game teaches everybody that hey, you need structure and discipline to win and to persevere.
Right. And maybe not to win, but at least be a challenge.
Right.
And not
Yeah.
lose 7-0.
Yeah.
Because I mean that will also kill your spirits
7-0 every game.
every game. You're losing 7-0.
Knowing, I think in life, if we do transition, knowing that you might lose in a game, that helps out in life for the future things.
Right. As an adult, you see that, but as a kid, you don't see that. You just saw that you lost. You're not like, all right, this is gonna make me better.
Or
Right.
I'm training and I'm practicing and I'm
For
running
life.
and running and running,
Not for
and
life.
we're losing.
For next week to
Yeah.
beat the Cobras.
Yeah, and we're
Yeah,
losing.
I think that's the.
Shout out to that team that we had back in 2000 and I get
Somebody
what was
said
it?
Texas Rage.
Texas Rage.
Rage,
Yes,
there you go.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to whoever said that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Texas
Says
Rage.
Oscar Toledo.
Yes.
He's a coach for Conroe United.
Yeah. And then I see all of our ex friends from Texas Rage. I see them coaching their kids now y todo eso. So
Yeah.
shout out to
Maybe-
everybody that's a
maybe
coach.
maybe
this
everybody is
season.
listening. That's what we
Yeah.
do. We,
I
we,
see them too.
we make our own league.
Yeah.
We all bring a
Yeah,
little thousand, and then we make our own
everybody.
league.
I mean, I have friends that have talked about it, that we need an academy here in Conroe, like locally, not in Spring, not in the Woodlands.
not 242.
We need an academy here, not Texas Rec, because I mean
No.
that's a rec, right? Like an academy that's gonna teach them the fundamentals, and I mean the plan is there, the business is there. It just
And
needs the
I think the
people.
customers are there. I mean,
Yeah.
Conroe is huge.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it is 1,266 kids. That's a lot of
That's
kids,
a lot.
and that's from the ages of I think
4.
I thought it was 6, but 4 to 12 to
Mm.
13.
Mhm.
So, you know, and there's like 5 teams in each division. So
How much did they make there? $40,
50,000. No, I did the math right away. Like 50,000.
$50,000.
Yeah.
But that and those jerseys, I'm pretty sure aren't costing
Yeah.
money. What do they? They just give you the jerseys,
Yeah, they give you just the jersey.
just the jersey.
$9.
and then they have to
Less.
pay the ref, I think, or I don't know if the
Oh, yeah, and then-
association pays for that.
The ref doesn't pay so good.
No, the ref's like $10 the whole hour.
Oh my God! Let's not talk about the refs, because the refs are another thing.
Hey, but real quick, while people are listening, they are looking for refs, so they do pay $20 a game for 4 to 5 year olds, 25 for 6 to 7 year olds, and $30 for 8 to 13 year olds. 4 game minimum on a Saturday,
4 game minimum.
so it's $80.
I'm
No,
gonna
it's
I'm gonna get the
120.
little 3-year-olds that, 4-year-olds that you don't have to
Yeah.
run so much.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if anybody's looking for extra money, it's there. You know, make sure to hit up Conroe United, because he did message me if I knew people, and I was like, these, you know, again, at the Dynamos leagues for the younger kids, they pay $55 for
Yeah.
the 4 to 5 year olds. So I'm like,
Yeah, and there's something about our generation that we, like, I feel like older generations don't stick to what they liked whenever they were younger. You know, maybe they do, but the stuff that they liked no longer is like more relevant.
Mhm.
But like us, like I still feel like I'm not that old, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it feels like you can still be part of like the community of like helping these kids, because you don't feel like it's too long ago.
correct. Yeah, I feel like it was recent. Like I still when I walked to Caney Creek, I'm like, I was just here a few years ago, and I'm like, 16 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, on the field.
And
You played
a
for
lo-
Conroe?
Yeah, for me it's been 10 years now for us.
Right. Oh, dang.
But it's like these kids that are 15, 16, they need those mentors. They need those people that have gone through it. You know, we didn't have those people. I don't know if you guys did, but like we didn't have the 30 or 40-year-old, people that are like, I've already gone through this. I've already done this. Like,
Right.
I think that's a huge advantage in our part.
And the people that coached us at I think it was Texas Rage as well for us, was like friends, Chicas, which was like 4 years older than us. Like he was 19, 20. His other brother was like 23. Ricardo was like 23, 24. You know, so it's like those people were teaching us, and I think at 30, 35 we can still do. I feel pretty good. I was out there like trying to run with the kids. Oh yeah, and then they don't get my humor, man.
Yeah, they don't. You got that dad.
Yeah, I'm the
jokes.
dad jokes. I was like, damn it. My son's like, hey, you did a few dad jokes. I was like, really? Because I was like, all right, guys, well, we're going to get together. I don't know nothing about soccer, but I'm going to try. And they just stared at me, and I was like, I'm just playing, guys. And nobody laughed when I said I'm just playing. I'm like, all right, nobody gets these jokes.
So they were expecting you to be competitive from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. And then that's why. So a few of them were passing the ball pretty good. And that's why I was like, okay, let's do like a give and go, right? Give and go is like simple, right? Hey, there's 2 lines. You're going to run, give, and then give it right back to them and take a shot. And, yeah, it was not simple at all. I mean, then the 2 or 3 players, because I think I will say Conroe United does a good thing about, half the team's okay, and the other half of the team are beginners. So you get a mixture of them.
I wonder how they set that up, because...
Well, they do I should have brought my paper. They do the, like a week before or tryouts or whatever.
Tryouts,
Yeah, and they're like, and I got the sheets, and it's like speed, no sé qué, and dribbling 6.3, no sé qué, and I'm like,
I
don't know
didn't
what
put
that
my
means.
kid through that.
But he's messy.
Yeah,
But you can only imagine what the actual director has to go through. Like he's from Conroe,
Right.
from the Conroe Rec, Mr. Wes
Right.
Wagner.
Mhm.
Shout outs to him.
Yeah,
He's
shout out to
right.
Wes.
he's been
Right.
in
It's more of
in
like
sports for
it's
forever.
more like a not a humanitarian, but it's like you're helping out and sacrificing a lot to be able to put this league up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because he's out there until the last people leave, and he's up there at 4
And
o'clock.
sometimes he has to coach and even ref
Yeah.
some of the teams.
Yeah, and they said they were missing like 10 coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
10 plus.
Yeah, that's why when I saw the message and Anthony told me, I was like, hey, is there spots? He's like, are you willing to coach? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, we'll sign both of yours up. Ready to go. Come on. I was like, oh, damn it. Damn it. But I think
What-
that's important.
What days do you coach?
Just Thursdays.
Oh, we have a training today.
Yeah. Yeah, the guys, like, for my daughter, they're like, hey, Mondays and Thursdays. I'm like, well, we'll be there Thursday, sir.
Mm.
And, you know, it's just Mondays I got to go play with the homies.
Yeah.
But we got to see how it is. But I think it's very important to, get your kids in sports like this, get them in there. And I think you have to sacrifice as a parent, right? Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have
Right.
to be able to sacrifice. And there are some friends that I have that do have their kids in Dynamo and things like that. And you can tell the quality of
Yeah.
play. And my biggest thing real quick, since we have people's attention with this, is stop screaming at the refs. Oh, damn. Oh, no, just throw it out. But I think right there, because I remember 2 years ago when I did it, everybody would scream and like at the players and this and
Right.
coach. I'm like, this is a $40 league.
Right.
I'm not getting paid for this. This is free. This is my time. Your son doesn't know much. Your daughter doesn't know much. Like, understand where you're at. Like, now if you're paying $1,000, to like, or 2,000 you said for those leagues over there.
Plus.
Yeah, like, 2,000 and your son's not improving and you're not getting quality. Like, I
Right.
get it, like 100%, but
Maybe it's your son.
yeah, it's like maybe it's not the coach or the other players. Like, it's your son. And-
As well as parents, sorry for
Go
butting in. As parents, we have to set aside like a budget, like keep them in sports. Because I remember wanting to do soccer. I remember wanting to do other stuff, but my parents had all their bills. My parents had all their
Right.
stuff that they had to do, and I was, just saying, okay, well, I'm just here for the ride because I didn't have a job. 16, 17, 18, 19.
Right.
What the heck?
Well, 18. No, man.
You didn't have a job?
I had a job. You guys got me.
Yeah, but like 9, 10, right? Like
Yeah.
whenever you're starting off.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you want to go with everybody else, but at the same time, hey, we can't go because your dad and I have to work and, and stuff,
And I think we should take that as parents now and be like, I know what that felt like.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't want to do that to my son
Yeah.
or
So
my daughter.
cut back on the weekends, like tantas carne asadas, tantas, going out to clubs and everything. No, just
Chelas.
keep like $100, $200 for the kids for them to do their activities.
And if you think about it, it's not much. I mean, if you put $20 a day,
Right.
$20 a day, whew,
too much
that's a lot of people. Yeah,
or 10? 10's too much.
I don't know.
$10 a
Just
day
have a
is
budget.
is-
Yeah. What he said, have a budget,
Have a
right?
budget.
Just like you have you should have a budget.
You should have
That's
a
the-
budget. Do you,
that's a bigger problem.
I know
That's
you
a big-
budget.
yeah.
Do you budget
I budget.
everything?
Ah.
Business.
Let's talk
Home.
about. Can we talk about COVID? Or-
We just got banned. You can't
Yeah,
say
you
the
can't
word.
say that word here.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
we'll get banned.
Just say what's the other? How do they say
The
it?
jab, you can say the jab or
The C word?
The C word. Or
Yeah,
C
just be
word.
like, yeah, we can talk about the C word.
Okay. So are you guys gonna edit that out or what?
we can't.
We
we're
can't.
live.
Damn it. No.
Sorry, guys.
No,
I
you're
already
good.
screwed this one up.
So whoever's watching live, hopefully we don't. You only said it once, but yeah,
It
you can't.
depends what you say.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Don't
So-
attack them.
Yeah, don't say.
For
Who's
me,
them?
it started like in March, right?
Oh, when you started and you saved all your money.
Yes.
Smart man.
So, the economical wise, once it started, I took off everything that I could from like Netflix to Wi-Fi to,
You cut down a lot.
I cut down on everything.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we spoke about this last time.
We did. And I think, and it was because your main goal was you weren't gonna come back. There was no return.
Yes.
You're like, I'm going all in.
Man, you
Burning
guys do
bridges.
remember.
Yeah, of
Holy
course, bro.
moly,
Like,
you guys are awesome.
There is no return, and I think parents and anybody in general, you should try to have that mentality, right? Depending on what you truly want, right? And
Right.
then, I mean, there's people out there that probably don't know what they want, and they're just living day by day.
I mean, there is.
There is.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
But I
I
think
mean, the statistics show.
having that on what you really want, and then doing what you did, and that's, me. You tell me to cut Netflix, I was like, oh, dang. But and it's funny, me and I were talking about that last night. Like, we went through a time where it was rough. And it was like, we've talked about it several times, it was McDonald's. And the goal was for the kids not to know what was going on. and not to know that we're going to hard times. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you have a store, you're balling. I was like, boy, oh, you have a business, you're balling. I see you doing this, I see you doing that. But understanding that with the budget and then cutting down on what you don't need, right? Because you don't need it. What do you think? You need Netflix. You need your coffee every day. You need.
One thing that I understood is that people need entertainment, right?
Yes.
Even during war, people have entertainment. Like that's what motivates people. That's what keeps people sane. So find whatever is like a budget-friendly entertainment, like maybe park, or find something that's going to be budget. If it's Netflix and you're willing to pay like $14 a month for that entertainment only, like that makes sense, But to cut out all entertainment, that's a little drastic, I would say, for the sake of your well-being and sanity, because
Right.
like as a human being, like you need entertainment, some
Mhm.
sort of entertainment.
Talking about going into like the budgeting portion of everything, yeah, as well with the business of what we have right now with my father going on. Shout outs to my dad. He is the hardest working man that I have ever met.
We haven't met my dad.
Yeah,
Oh.
my dad will kick
Your dad's ass. No.
But
it's
yeah,
a rush hour quote.
my dad, he's super awesome. He's the working motor of all this, and I'm just, I don't want to say I'm the face of it, but I am like the promoter of it.
Estás guapo.
No, I mean copied from him, so
There you go.
I'm all right. Pero from having a business, it's there has been months where I have been living paycheck by paycheck.
Mhm.
I don't show it on Facebook because that's none of anybody's business.
And nobody wants to see it,
Nobody wants to see it. But
right?
that you're going through a hard
I don't
time
know.
and you have
Maybe.
a business and
Maybe.
it should be all
You
good.
think so?
Maybe people like the process, right? People like a good story. People like a good comeback story,
But they like the story after it happens.
right?
They don't like it during.
I don't know.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, do you like seeing the people that you follow or that go through hard times are like, oh, that guy sucks? Or like after when he tells you he went through a hard time, you're like, oh, damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
So
Look where you're at now.
I think go
I've
ahead.
seen people where I see people now where they're at the top of their game and they're heavy hitters and like $300, $400 a day
Right.
of income or more, $1,000 a day of income, and you're like, man, what did you guys do? But then once you see their story and hear it, it's sometimes because they had to make a drastic change in their own
Right.
life
Mhm.
for it to happen, and they had to cut back on a lot of things. And it's just what they were taught from the very early stages, and this all
Comes together.
comes together with the soccer, with the budgeting. They all had to work at it so hard, and then now you see them, and then they're in their cars. They're always going out. They're always going out to eat.
Right.
And even then, like they still maintain the same mentality of like, okay, this is the budget that I can afford now. This is me cutting back for the future.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like, like cutting back. Like, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Like
I think because everybody, you have to sacrifice something, and everybody's sacrifice is different than everybody, right? So,
Mhm.
like, for instance, it's funny, we talked about this the other day, too. My sacrifice is I want a badass PC. I want all the parts. I want, like, 3-4 monitors. I want to, do more stuff to my truck. But my sacrifice is, like, we're not doing that, right? And some people are like, well, that's not a sacrifice. That's luxury. But to me, it's like I'm not buying all that for the bigger goal of I want more stores, I want real estate, I want this and that.
Right.
So it's like not doing it now so I can do it later,
mhm.
and us keeping everything. And I think that's one thing that I learned because I wasn't taught that at a younger age. I didn't learn how to budget. It was
Yeah.
like I saw my parents go paycheck to paycheck. So I was like, oh, that's what it is. So in my 20s, early 20s, when I was going paycheck to, I was like, oh, this is normal.
Yeah.
Like I get my check, I pay my bills, and I have $100 left, and I'm gonna go spend it.
Right.
And then now I'm like 3 days before my check, I'm trying to get my pennies together for gas. This is normal. This is what I saw my parents do. But then I've learned like,
Right. Or
It's
maybe
not-
it wasn't like, because some of us, like, we never went into the books with our parents and said, okay, where are you? How are you? Like, that was never revealed. It was
Mm.
more like, this is just what is, right? It's
Right.
not like, They don't tell you, oh, we have this much in the bank. We're 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 making this much. This is our income tax. Like, when were those discussions, right? Those discussions were never a thing.
No. I remember when my parents used to tell me, hey, or whenever they would take me to the store, and every kid at the store wants to go to the toys section or candies and everything.
Walmart.
I still want to.
And then I remember that my parents used to tell me, not right now. We can't get it right now. We'll get it some other day. And it was because I didn't understand why. But now that I understand, it's like they're probably budgeting or they're probably tight on money.
Right. As we get older, we're like, makes sense.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not that we can't afford it. It's that you don't need another toy.
Correct.
You don't need another toy to add to your 40 toys.
Correct. And I think it's being transparent with your kids. Like I tell my kids, like, no, you don't need it. You have one. Okay. Right. And, at first, Anthony used to say things like, well, you have a shop, Dad. I was like, okay, what does that mean? Well, we have money. No, we don't. Like, that's not, and even if we did, like, that's not the goal. Now they're a little bit older, and I've tried to, and again, I'm probably not doing the best job, but I try to do the best, right, teaching them. But now they understand, like, all right, well, our goal is, it's summer, we want to go out, we want to do that. So I can buy you that now, but then when we go on a cruise or whatever, you're not going to get what you want to get. I'll just wait. Okay, like they start to kind of understand that part.
Yeah, with the businesses with Texas Paper Plug, with what we have right now, I've had to sell off my car. My BMW. I loved it. It was my heart and joy because I put what
still post it.
I still post it once in a while because I do remember about it.
It's like the ex you can't get over.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, did I just say that?
But it's at the same time, it's now that I drive my new BMW out there, the wagon,
the wagon mobile.
That's what it is. It's transitioning. It's that discipline that we were taught, or that we had to force ourselves to learn.
Right.
That we have to make sacrifices in life, and with that money that I sold off the car for what I bought it for, I sold it off exactly. Even though I put more money into it, but I didn't get that money back, but I sold it off for what I bought it for.
Nice.
And that same money, I dumped it all into the business. I paid off bills that I had. And then, like, it was weird. I didn't have any negative bills, like that were taking money, or that, like, credit cards. And, like, 2 or 3 months later, I had to get more money, so I had to start using credit cards.
Right.
And then little did I know, in 3 months, I already racked up $15,000 in debt in just credit cards because of the business,
right,
and everything that I had to do.
I think it's understanding, but now you understand how to control that balance, right? Like what goes in, what goes out, and that's, I think, even I went through a hard time with that when I started having money, and I'm used to paycheck to paycheck. I have some money, I saved it. Now I'm getting more money on a daily basis. Now I'm getting more money on a weekly basis. And now my business account looks like nice. Like, okay, does this mean I get to spend stuff? And
Shake
then
it twice.
And then I get to, like, I start seeing all this money. So I'm like, okay, that means we made it. We're balling, and we're, and then it's like, no, because, and then I went through this, and I've shared this before, right? And then I got into some issues with the state of Texas with sales tax and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to pay all of that? Oh, that's not my money? Oh, okay. So then it's like learning that, and then it's like, oh, okay, these 50,000 aren't mine,
Yeah.
25,000 is inventory.
Yeah.
Now another 10,000 is payroll. Okay, now I'm down to 15. Oh, 5 of this is taxes. Okay, now I'm down to 10. Okay, now I gotta, the lights, the bills, the utility. Okay, now I'm down to 3,000. Oh, so out of this 3,000 is mine.
Yeah.
Things like that. But I think if you don't have, like I tell people, do your business, start, somewhere. But you have to be able to have that responsibility and be able to balance your books.
Yeah,
because if you sold everything and you didn't have enough money to buy more, you're out. Because your business is kind of like mine, where you buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell.
It's exactly like that. And that portion of it is super important. You have to be super stable on knowing that if you have to buy, for your products, if you have to buy, like $5,000 to $10,000 more of product, but at the same time you have to, you have to reinvest it, and that's where you're like, oh man, I could have just gone on a cruise, or I could have gone on, taking the kids out or stuff like that, and That's where I've noticed that, like, I don't go out much. I stay home. You know,
Right.
The people that know me and that know my dad and I and what we do and my wife. You know, shout outs to my wife. She's a blessing in disguise for me. And at the same time, she's a blessing all around at the house. And whenever I have my negative moments and my mentalities or my lazy days where you just want to stay home, you know.
Right.
Pretty sure you guys have
Yeah.
those days too where you're like, I don't want to do anything today.
That was like 2 days ago.
You know, and they can figure it out on their own and call me if you need me, and if not, then oh well.
Or you're sick.
Or you're sick, you know.
Yeah,
There's
sick
not
day.
many sick days.
And it's okay to have those days. I think
Yeah.
sometimes people feel like that's not okay, but it's okay. Take your day off, take your time off by yourself. You know, you're gonna be stressed. Things are gonna pile up on you. All of a sudden, you know, you gotta buy more inventory, and you're like, oh crap, like I didn't put too much aside, or I didn't follow my books. I bought an extra thing, and having that partner there is very, very important. Whether it be your spouse, your girlfriend, your cousin, whoever's there
Yeah.
to support you. You need that support system, you know, and because you need to have somebody to, once you're falling down, that can pick you back up. Hey, you're
Yeah.
still doing good. We believe in you. Our kids believe in you.
Yeah.
Like, keep going, keep pushing forward.
Yeah, my dad and my wife, they're like, there is no other option. This is all that we have for right
Like,
now.
you turned everything off, bro. You got nothing else. You better get it back.
No, pero, it's tough selling out there as well. You know,
Right.
you have your people that that come and ask you what it is. People that tell you, hey, I've been seeing you guys for the past week or two when they drive by with my dad in 105, and then me just bouncing around everywhere and trying to get more people to see us and to notice us.
Right.
And from there, the tough part is lunch. You know, we have to take from home, so we're always eating from home. So that's saving in a portion,
Mhm.
as well as if we have to use the restrooms, we have to kind of hold it or try to find it somewhere.
Right.
But and then water. If you run out of water,
Then you're screwed.
you're just stuck there.
Just dry.
You're left to dry, and and I think all of that has been. I think you learn all of that from the experiences that you have. You have your people that are gonna buy from you. You have your people that are going to ask you questions of what it is and how it is because they're intrigued and they want to know more and they want to learn how to use it.
Right.
Or some
It's-
people are just weirded out because
Like, what do you mean how to use it?
like
Like how to wipe?
like how to use it. What I mean would be like the detergents.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
I was like,
Because
people don't
so
know how to
many
wipe.
people aren't
Front to back or back to
Hey,
front?
let me ask you something. Since you are the toilet paper plug, do you wipe with your left or your right? What are you supposed to? Not you, maybe, but just what is recommended? Like, serious
As
question.
an expert.
uh,
As an expert wiper.
as an expert wiper, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just jump in the shower.
Oh dang! You
You have a bidet?
No.
What do you think about bidets? You think they're gonna
Bidets are awesome. Yeah.
they're gonna
What? You can't say that
No. Why?
because then no one's gonna buy paper from you.
Yeah.
You gotta dry
People
it up.
people still use paper.
Yeah, it's gonna take a long time before we.
I want to try one.
Yeah, and then
It's so I'm serious. Is it left or right?
it's in other cultures it's left-handed
Others, so not this culture.
because like in India it's left-handed. In our culture it's whatever your dominant hand is.
That's
But
interesting.
What do you use?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Some
I'll
disclosed
use it
information.
left. I use left.
yeah. Oh man.
I've always just left, and I've learned why. I don't know what I used when I was younger, and I don't know at what age I switched, but it's been many years, hundreds of years, I use left. And I think the main thing is just because I learned, like, I shake your hand here.
You eat with your right hand and you.
And, you
That's
know,
interesting.
it's like,
It's very cultural. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
cultural
that
awareness.
culture, Yeah.
yeah, I think,
That's
and I
interesting.
teach my kids that. It's like,
Oh,
hey,
okay.
oh, another thing real quick, sorry. Kids don't know how to handshake, man.
No. Nowadays I've met some kids where you handshake. Ay, todo el pescadito.
Pescadito. I like that. Literally, yesterday, because, again, I feel...
Right.
Once I got on that field, I feel like, okay, they're looking at me, and whatever I teach them or whatever I do, it might help her. It might be like, this guy don't know crap.
Right,
but-
because you're teaching them a lot more than just soccer.
Right. So it's like, so I got there. I was like, hey, hi, what's your name? Because I got to check them in. They're like, oh, so-and-so. I was like, all right, my name's Ray. And like, one of them went like this, and I'm like, bro. And then I'm like, bien. And they're like, like out of maybe 15 that I had, maybe 2 of them looked at me in the eye.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
As parents.
No, I think
Yeah, it comes
the
from
word.
the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your kids, you have to. It's a lot of phases, right? Like every year that they're alive, it's a new phase, a new challenge, and sometimes parents just like, this is just too much. They just let them grow up with the teachers telling them what to do and their friends, and sometimes parents are too busy. And
But then you see our parents, they're super cordial, like, oh, muchas gracias, muy amable, feliz día,
Right.
que le vaya bien, primero
but
Dios.
those manners were taught. Like the
Yeah.
manners were more important in
Then-
the household. Like manners were everything.
Yeah.
Like don't put your hands in the table. Don't put your elbows in the table.
Don't play with your food.
Right. Your clothes, even if you're poor, even if they're
Oh,
old,
yeah.
they have to be clean.
Yeah.
Right.
Be nice.
Be clean and nice.
Yeah.
Ironed your clothes. Your hair. Brush your hair. All these things that you were taught, they weren't necessarily like how to create money or wealth, but they were like manners and
Correct.
respect and all the things
big.
that are lacking right
And
now.
that's real big.
You know what really, like, me da cosa?
What really grinds your
My,
gears?
have you guys heard that from me?
Yeah.
What really grinds my gears? I got that from Family Guy.
Yeah. See, I watch you. I listen.
Is when you wear pajamas to, like, go out.
Oh man.
Eso me da.
That Crocs, like my kids know.
Big
like,
old stuffy
yeah,
shoes.
They don't. They know. And my daughter stopped even asking in the morning, can she wear her Crocs? Like she'll bring them because Monday when she goes to her mom sends her in Crocs, and then I pick her up after school, and then the whole week, I'm like, hey, you want to wear your Crocs? She'll look at me kind of like, he's messing with me. No, I don't want to wear my Crocs. But I think that's very, very important because at one point, even if our parents didn't teach us finance, they taught us manners and respect. So what are we teaching our kids if we're not teaching them finance and we're not teaching them manners and respect?
I hope we're teaching them the best that we can for the kids.
I mean, and it's hard. Like you're learning,
Right.
it's hard. Your kids are still young. It
Yeah.
is very hard, but no. I'm gonna take that back. To me, I don't think it's hard.
Right.
Like I've always said, it's not hard. You just have to do it.
No.
Like it's just part of you doing it. People are like, Ray, how'd you do it? Like, bro, I just stuck to it. Like, no is no. Yes or no, sir. Like, when this is said, this is done. Yeah, así son las cosas. And I think that transition into the work environment when they get older, and even if they become business owners, as business owners, whether you want to or not, you have to set money aside to buy product. You have to set money aside for taxes. You have to, when you meet a new customer, you have to, hi, how are you? Like, you have to be respectful. You have to understand. And if they complain and they're aggressive towards you, hey, this didn't work or this, you have to be able to stay calm, be able to handle that situation. So it's like,
can't. Yeah. One thing I've learned is you cannot escape the responsibility. Like you can try and hold on, even as a man, right? Like, we grow up and we have commitment issues and all this stuff. And it's like, you can hold on as long as you want. You can be in your 30s and 40s and even 50s, but eventually it's going to catch up where that responsibility is going to come to you.
right.
You know, it's like you either embrace it or you run from it, but
Correct.
you cannot.
Yeah.
It's coming, you know.
And then connecting into that with the business is for paper, as well. Some people ask me, okay, what's this and this and this one? Some people are picky and say, oh, I want the best one.
Right.
Some people grew up with, oh, whatever works, whatever wipes me. Okay,
Whatever's cheaper.
the single ply one. And then
Whatever wipes me.
and then if you're
You get it on your fingers a little bit.
hey, I mean,
I hate that, bro.
wash your hands, no?
I mean, I wash them sometimes, and I'm like, oh shit, oh damn.
Jesus Christ.
Good thing I use my left. You see?
Oh my goodness! And then if you're
Don't
alone,
shake your
then
hand.
then buy the double ply.
Right.
The package. I have a little package for everything, but I've had 2 people come up to me and tell me, "What do you have?" "Oh, I have toilet paper." And then they tell me, "No, what's the big rolls? Towels." "Oh, I use those."
God damn.
2 people have told me.
Está raspado. Esa raspa sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like,
Callous.
I just want it clean.
Really clean.
Yeah.
But see, I use wipes. You ever gonna get in the wipey game?
No.
No, we
It's
can't
bad
talk
for the
about that.
environment.
That's bougie. ¿Cómo es bougie?
Bougie.
Bougie.
Think so? You think it's bougie?
I think it's bad for the environment, isn't it?
I get the flushable.
I mean, you can flush them, but
No, don't flush them.
No,
The
even the
septic.
flushable.
If you ever have a plumber in here, he'll tell you.
I'm in the city.
Oh,
So there was this guy. There was this guy that he was cheating on his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and he would flush. No, it was the opposite. She was cheating on him, and every night, you know, he would go to work, and then he would have his Sancho come in, right? And
True story. Oh, okay.
that's the story. On,
Okay.
I don't know where, on the news or something.
Okay. Okay.
And he would flush, you know, the condoms or whatever, and then, you know, 20 years later, here comes the plumber, and he opens up, you know,
The septic.
yep, and it was, well, you know what was in there. That's how he found out.
Damn, that
Well,
sucks.
yeah, that sucks.
That does suck. All right, guys. So if you have septics, just throw them away. I used to take them with me when I was a cheater, or when I was the side guy. This is many years ago. When I was the side guy, I just take them with me. You gotta be smart. You gotta be smart.
Don't give people
Ideas.
yeah,
Just don't cheat.
yeah,
Oh
don't
my
cheat.
goodness. Yeah, guys.
But anyway, so
stay in
wipies,
your
no.
own lane.
Wipies is
No,
boosh.
no. For me, no, because of the Texas heat, they'll dry up. If I have a hole in the little packages, it'll dry up, and then it's product
But could you
wasted.
get the plug?
Yes, I can.
All right,
I can.
we're gonna talk. And I think now that I've shifted over to wipies, I just feel cleaner. You don't use wipies?
With a little moistness that you walk in.
Yeah,
and
like like
keeping it moist.
you have to.
You use powder.
No.
No.
I heard that that's cancerous. If you like, it's associated like
How would you?
talco powder.
How would you do that?
Well, you
No,
pour it in
whenever-
your hand.
Yeah,
Oh.
whenever
Oh,
you
sí
use
sabe.
it, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
There's
say
people
yeah.
that have used powder.
I know
What's
I use
called?
it on
Baby
babies.
powder?
Yeah, baby powder. Yeah,
it's
on babies.
cancerous.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
What isn't cancerous?
I don't
Oh
know.
wait, we can't get into that. We could get banned in here. But yeah. So I think real quick, another thing. Is it a Hispanic thing to not flush toilet paper?
No, we flush. Well, I mean, we use whatever's left over from what.
Pero no lo echan en la bote de basura.
So we used to not flush because we had a septic
Mhm.
and we didn't have sewer system.
Yeah.
So the
Like
sewer
in el
system.
rancho, or like you as young kids, or you're
as
talking
young
in general.
kids, I mean, well, my experience, you didn't flush it because it went into the septic tank,
Yeah.
and then that. What are you gonna do? 10 years later, everything's gonna be full with
Paper.
paper.
But every like year, tienen que venir and lo limpian y they suck it up and they take it.
Yeah, but that's more money. You know.
Whenever you're budgeting.
I would just open that hole. My mom would make me take it
Yeah,
out.
so it's better. You're gonna put it in the trash either way. Might as well put it in the trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning that. Because even me,
Yeah, that's bougie. That's your privilege, dude.
Shh.
privileged to who?
To everybody.
You.
Yeah.
It's just like then you turn. Okay,
That's
another
a
thing then.
privilege.
You know, even at the Woodlands Mall, guys, if you leave it in the trash, like fold it,
Oh yeah. Some people just leave it.
Bro,
face
sometimes
up.
Disgusting.
it's
yeah.
just
So
like that,
disgusting.
and then just like leave it there, and it's just like you walk in there, like what the hell's going on in here? Like
right.
again, what are we teaching our
Manners,
kids?
Right.
What are
right.
we teaching our kid? Like fold it, bro.
It's,
Like
it's a lot.
it's an extra
yeah.
step.
Yeah, and all that comes from the parents, right? Like you have to be that invasive at a point, you know, where it's like, okay, how are you learning these things? Because it's important.
It's
Because it
very
affects other people
And it affects other people, but mainly themselves,
Mhm.
their kids. Like, the kids grow up, and then you're like, man, where'd I go wrong? And then you're like, oh shit, I didn't teach you a lot of stuff. Like, and then it's like me. I mean, as I grew up, I didn't know how to treat a woman. Like I didn't have a dad, so I didn't know what the hell I was. Just like, okay, I'm supposed to. Shout out to the Notebook, best movie ever. But just learning how to be respectful, how to learn all that. And it's like some people don't have that in them to learn anything.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to do anything, you're just going to be working your 9 to 5 forever,
Yeah.
working minimum wage.
Oh yeah, and it's all about the discipline, and it's all about the learning, really, and just hope that your kids do the best that they can, and that you taught them the best, and that they are wearing your last name, the family's last name.
And I think we've lost that. I think we've lost a lot of that, what that means. It's like when we were younger, our parents was like La Familia Aguilar or whatever, and it's like this is who we are. And as we've gotten older, it's like that doesn't matter because people stop teaching you that, right? It's like who is your family? Who is your father? When back in the ranchos days or whatever, back in the day, like you knew your dad and you knew your dad's dad and you knew their. So if you were bad, they were gonna know about it, and you're representing them bad, and then so that's why they taught you things. But I think now it's like, who cares? I get it, who cares? But it's like for your own son or daughter, like that's who you should care for. How they represent. So what other like business things are you getting into? So I know you said you have the toilet paper. We know that part. You have the soap, the detergent, and then you said you were working on something else last time.
I was working on trash liners. So the trash liners from like Sam's and Costco, the drawstring ones that everybody has in their houses.
And trash liners are trash bags.
Trash bags, but with the drawstring, the orange ones that Sam's and Costco has. So if I could find manufacturer, it would be awesome because I would totally try to help out in that portion of it as well. And eventually the other step would be diapers as well. It would be sold for the same price, but always be giving out a lot more than what it is.
Right. So that's the whole point of going through you, because what you're doing is you're skipping the middleman.
Exactly.
Or the middleman.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's what it is. So like, I'm sure you already know this, but like I learned that I think there's only 2 national companies that make tires.
Right.
There's only 2 that make tires. They make all the tires, no matter what tire it is.
Exactly.
Only 2. But there's like 50 brands.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, which one's better than what? But they're all manufactured coming from the same ingredients from the same 2 companies.
Exactly.
But those are all the middleman in between. So just throwing a number out there, right? A tire costs $1. Mm-hmm. This guy's selling it for $2. This guy's selling it for $3. By the time it goes to you, now you're buying the tire at $120 when it really costs $20 to make or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's yesterday you said there's almost anything and everything you can find a manufacturer for.
Yeah, because that's where it comes from. It's just like bread. Bread is cut from the same loaf. You know, it's all the same thing. And just like toilet paper, it's all from the same manufacturer, and it gets distributed out to all the retail stores here, which would be H-E-B, Conroe, H-E-B, Kroger, Walmart, you know, Aldi's, La Michoacana. They all get it from the same manufacturer.
Right. And I think Aldi's has a good business idea too, because they might not be cutting the middleman, but they save on other expenses, right? All the employees, all the extra stuff. So that's why they can offer them at a little bit cheaper price.
Oh, yeah. Aldi's, yeah. My dad loves going to Aldi's. Just that the thing is, no sé, siento que la comida, like, goes bad too fast.
Because it doesn't have too many preservatives. So it doesn't have that, like, oh, this is going to last you a year. And I wonder if people ever question that, right? Like, why am I able to buy food and it's able to sit here for so long? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. Like, but it's all the stuff that they add to it that it's like, you know, why do some apples in 2-3 days they're bad, and some apples there's 2-3 weeks and they're still good?
Right.
You're like, oh, it's an apple, but I think it's just being informed, being informed on what you're doing.
That is true.
And how you're doing. And with your business right now, we talked I think October.
Yes.
October. So with the new year, does business start to climb? Is there anything different that you do as a business owner to find new business besides like finding a new location or anything like that?
Yeah. I was talking to Luis once we came in that business, we started this year running because last year business was just picking up. It was just starting, it was just crawling. But this year we started walking, we started running, and now we're off to the point where we have to keep up with demand from people here in Conroe and restaurants as well. So crawfish season is a good season for us because we provide paper towels to many of the crawfish stores here in Conroe.
Smart.
You know, and the tough part is when a manufacturer can't offer us because we're like low in the on the table, so we get the scraps.
Right.
You know, it's not like, you know, we're competing with like Walmart or anything like that. We can't. So we get the scraps, we get the leftovers or the things that aren't bought. You know, and then that's where we come in. You know, just like you have your wherever you buy your stuff at, you know.
Yeah. So is it based on like when you say you're at the bottom, is it other companies like you that are just buying way more so they sell to them first, or is it?
No, it's just the big name brand stores.
They bought it all. So then
they make it all for them, and then whatever gets left over, that's
what's left over.
That's where we.
But is there other people that pull up to the same places that you go and they're also buying from them?
Not that I know
You
of.
don't see many there.
No.
Because I know last time you told us that you kind of started like that, where you had somebody
Mm-hmm.
that you got it, and then you made a connection, and then you were able to go to where he was getting it from.
Yeah, and that's the whole point with the with like the trash liners as well. I did find a manufacturer, but they're all the way in
Pretty far.
in the east, and I don't know how to come up with that amount of money for
Because you have to buy by bulk, I'm guessing.
So
have to buy the container.
Oh,
one of the issues that I find, and not just with you, of course, the business, your business, but my business, his business, every small business, is how do you scale, right? Like the problem with scalability, because we're only one person.
Yeah.
Right? You're doing marketing, production, operation, all this stuff. Like, well, what if, even if you got $1 million, like, how would you be able to manage that? And how would you be able to scale what you do, right? When there's so many variables. And I see it across every small business. And it's like, okay, you're doing well, right? You're at 50 to 200K a year. But how do you scale that, right? Even if you were to have all the money, like, with our abilities, it's hard to do it, and that's when I think it becomes more of like, who do you team up with to create something better?
right. Yeah. I think that's the hard part, but and it's the same thing what we're taught, right? Some of us have been taught, like we talked the other day. Your dad's a horse, or what'd you say?
Yeah, he's a horse for working.
Yeah, like and we some of us are still like that. Like, we're gonna work. Right, even if it's our own business, we're gonna work. But then it's like, okay, right now, take it to the next level. You now find a way to be able to bring the liners in. Well, how? Okay, now I got them. Now what do I do extra? Okay, I gotta market better. Yeah. Okay, I gotta give better deals. I gotta give better customer service. I need to represent myself better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, and that's the fun part too. Like, that's like enjoying the process as well. Like, enjoying that process of like, okay, yeah, you're doing okay, but you can still do a lot better. And what's that next step? Who do you hire? Who do you work with? Or who do you partner with? Or what new thing do you learn? You learn about marketing, or do you learn about finances? Or
right. I think that's where I'm at. And I think the other day we talked about online.
Yeah.
Online sales.
Online sales. Making a website where people can order.
Right. But then
after hours,
you can't make the website because you're too busy working.
Somebody else will.
Then you have to find somebody. But how do you have the time to find that somebody?
Yeah.
How do you know they're gonna do it good?
And then
how do you make it run and then start it up? But while you're maintain it while you're still going to pick up, like, exactly. So it starts to.
And then the boxes, how much it's gonna cost a box, and then the shipping.
Yeah.
It's a whole other business. E-commerce is a whole other business. Yeah.
Right.
So I tell my clients, like, I mean, I do websites and online e-commerce, and I'm like, you're setting up a whole new business when you create a new online store, because you have to do the whole thing all over again. Yeah, you can integrate it, but even the integration is a whole new thing. So you have 3 new things. It's like your inventory and your store, the integration to your new online store, and then the online, logistics.
Yeah.
So, but it's a beautiful thing if you make it work.
Oh, yeah.
Because it will allow you to scale a little bit more.
And that's the part where we learn how to, as business owners, you have to open up your mentality of making, with the same business, more money. And that's the portion of, I'm not just going to be in person selling it, but I also want somebody to be ordering off. So that's another second stream of income,
Right.
And then a third one, and then a fourth one. Just like you're a hustler. Whenever I see that you have the business for the nutrition, right, with your wife, and then you have the melting pot, and then you have you're a ref. Yeah. And then you have, what else do you have?
Vending machines.
The vending machines, yeah.
And then ATMs.
And
then the podcast.
And then Bitcoin and podcast, right?
And then he works out.
And then the other store.
He's got his IG revenue.
Yeah, my IG revenue.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just.
And I'm a dad still.
And you're still a dad. Yeah.
And let me ask you something. Do you feel overwhelmed?
At times, yes. Like yesterday, I was feeling it. Yeah, I mean, at times, yes. And sometimes I thrive on it, and sometimes I'm like, damn it, am I doing too much? Is Luis and them really right? Nah, screw those guys. Keep going.
Yeah, don't listen to us. Don't listen to anybody on the streets that's not motivating
Screw
you.
them. I'm doing it for all the haters.
Yeah, always, because people want to...
Who are the haters?
Yourself.
Oh,
that's it.
there you
Hating
go.
yourself.
I'm hating myself. I'm not where I should have been.
Exactly, but then at the same
I said
time...
exactly. Damn it.
No, because
Yeah.
I go through it too. But it's just that portion of... I could be this, I could be that, and then we get into our own heads as men that we're not doing enough.
Right.
But then when we are doing just enough or even more, we don't give ourselves credit for it. And that's where the discipline of maybe I could buy myself something, maybe I could gift myself something.
Mm.
It's not because I deserve it, but because I earned it.
What do you think, Luis?
No, I think it's important to reward yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's important to reward yourself, and even during a productive day, like if you're working, let's say, I'm gonna work 30 minutes and then I'll look at my phone for 5. That's an easy little reward that you can treat yourself for. Or I'm gonna work out this whole week, and Friday I'm gonna take an extra lunch, right? So it's or like, I'm gonna work this whole year, and at the end of the year I can take a little vacation.
Okay. Right.
You can reward yourself, and if that works for you, that works for you. But some people don't do that.
And where does this all start from? Connecting all back to from where we first started. Where does it all start from?
Just the discipline that you learn from whenever you're little.
Right. Because I was going to say, what if you reward yourself too much? How do you know when it's too much? And I asked that because, I used to say this all the time. Like, people work Monday through Friday really hard. Right. And then they're like, all right, it's Friday. I deserve it.
Let's go clubbing, arandas.
Now I deserve to go drinking, hanging out, or not even maybe drinking, or partying, just spending my money, do something. Then it's Saturday. Then I got to do it again. Then Sunday's brunch day. And then you're like, Monday, you're like, oh,
$300, $400 in for the weekend.
And then you're like back to square one.
Yeah.
I think that's rooted into our psyche as a society. You got to look back who invented the work week, right? Who invented the 40-hour work week? And even before that, like, you got to look at the West and where all that comes from. And it might be like rooted in our religion as well. Like, resting on the Sabbath, or like, just super rooted in our DNA, like as a human society, like, hunter and gatherers, like whenever they went and hunt, after they would rest, after they would hunt. So it's like, it's a lot of like super rooted stuff that you'd have to look at. A lot of stuff.
Because I think I've done it to the point where I just treat every day the same. Sundays, I do take it off, and Saturdays.
Right.
And I don't, but I try not to do above and beyond. Right. Even if we have like a real good week.
But you've done it before. I
have. And there's points when I have. One was one. We broke sales about a year ago, and I think that's when I bought this first gun. And I was like, I deserve this gun because we sold an extra $2,000 this week. Hell yeah. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, damn it, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just saved that money.
Mm-hmm. It happens.
Damn it.
It happens.
That's like that. But I think in general, these are all good points. And I think the main thing is just having a system that really works for you and what you're trying to achieve. Like, your system worked for you. You cut everything. You gave up your car that you love. You did a bunch of changes. And now you're starting to walk or run, you said, where at first it was like slow and you're like, oh shit. Did you ever question like, oh, maybe I didn't do it right?
No,
just still focus.
I'm still focused because from paying off all those stuff, my credit score went up, Thanks to my parents for giving me a credit score when I was like 14, 15.
How?
Because they added me into their credit cards. Ooh. So, guys, if you didn't know, that's a little nugget. You could add your kids into your credit cards and not be a user, and you don't have to give them a credit card. But as long as their name is on there, you're giving them a credit score. And once they start off at 18, they can start buying a house and stuff like that.
That's important, yeah.
Those are things that we aren't taught as Hispanics, and that once your baby is born, that you could buy life insurance or a Roth IRA and start investing for their retirement and stuff. And once they retire, they're with compound interest, You know, this is a whole nother
He's the
conversation.
YouTube videos that I watch, the reels.
No,
yeah. But all this, you know, they could retire millionaires, and then their kids, they could pass it off, and their grandkids, and that's how generational wealth is built.
Correct.
And with just buying a house, you know, live in it for 2 to 3 years, and still keep the same income, rent it out, and then buy another house, and then that's how what I've seen de los gringos, you know, from
Right. And that's the disadvantage that we have.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like we're just getting started. You know, they have like 3 or 4 generations
Yeah.
ahead of
So
ahead of us.
whenever they buy like a $200,000 house, they rent it out or they sell it off, and with that same money, they buy a $250,000 or $300,000 house
And
because
it's not everybody, right?
it's not everybody. But that's how
and
people
even,
climb the ladder.
But even like in Mexico, there's that,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to necessarily be like a racial division. It's more of like a class division, right? Like
Right.
a
It's
divisional,
education.
yeah, educational divider of like even in Mexico, you have like the wealthy that are already doing that.
Yeah.
Super wealthy. And it's like understanding. I think we've talked about this before. I think the one important thing, and it really stuck with me, was if your parents came here, you probably didn't have money. You're
Right.
probably coming from poverty.
Right.
Like you were
If you're
broke.
here,
You were broke. Like if not, you would be in Mexico and they would be able to survive, and your family would have never came here.
right.
So when you come here and they're just working because that's what they know how to do, and you're poor, then we're already starting at a lower
Right.
end than when we're at, right?
You
Because
don't realize that you're just living life, and you don't realize where you lie in the spectrum of demographics.
Yeah.
Like who are you, right? You're, you know, a minority. You're an immigrant. You know, you're coming from a poor region in Mexico.
Yeah.
What region in Mexico? Who are your, like, where you grew up? What are your genetics, makeup, like all this stuff? Like, you have no idea as a kid, you know.
Correct.
And then you grow up and you're like, oh, why am I? And it comes back to soccer. Why am I disproportionately different than the Woodlands?
Yeah.
You know. And then I was looking at their demographics, and then the Mexicans that came from Mexico there. They fled the cartels, you know, danger, but they were the wealthy Mexicans. They
Right.
came here the legal way. They came here, you know, and they set up a community there. But if you look at us and you look at them, they're Mexicans, we're Mexicans, but the difference is there.
Yeah,
You
they-
can see the difference in
Yeah.
in education. You see the difference in culture. You see the difference in a lot of things. And it's not, I mean, they're Mexican, we're Mexican, we're the same,
Right.
same generation.
right? But the differences between us is so drastic.
It's
And
crazy.
it trickles down all the way to soccer, you know,
Mhm.
how we were talking about it.
And I think it's understanding where you're at and being okay with it, and then going from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
going from there. Just understand. Like once we talked that, like that stuck to me, and I was like, yeah, man, that's so true, right? Because I'd be like, damn, I'm like way behind. Like I don't know, but it's like okay, my parents. And then, you know, I started thinking about it, and I think and I understand it. I'm like, okay, now, and I tell people all this, and of course, people have seen it all over social media, right? If you were born broke, it's not your fault.
No.
But if you die broke, that's your
on
fault.
you.
And broke doesn't have to be necessarily money,
Mhm.
right? It can be a bunch of stuff, right?
The way I put it is, it's not your fault. Whatever happened to you before, it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to change it. Whatever it is.
Oof.
It could be your weight, it could be your education, it could be your finances, it could be anything. You know, your lack of having parents, your lack of having good parents, your lack of, you know, whatever the lack is, you know, none of the traumas that we live through are our fault.
Right.
You know, but it is our responsibility to perceive them a different way and change them if we want to.
And I think everything's in our phone, man. Like, there's no reason why you can't do something or become something. But I have understand that it's not for everybody. It's just not for everybody.
No, like
Not everybody wants to have a 6-pack. Not everybody wants to have $1 million.
no, I don't
Not
wanna have a
everybody
six-pack.
wants to have a big ass house.
No.
Some people want a small house.
Well, I
Wants
mean,
to
I'm
wake
pretty
up,
sure you guys have seen my
walk around
house.
barefoot.
My house is $130,000 house. It's a cookie cutter home. My house only has 4 windows. on it.
Cookie cutter.
You know,
Those are the
it-
one. I
it's
mean, that's
built
a
the
whole.
same way.
That's a whole.
I don't even have a
conversation,
garage. You know, it's a whole number. But
Yeah.
But you have a house.
but I have a house and I'm comfortable with it, and it provides the needs that we are looking for,
Mm.
and that's a house. You
And
know,
you're good.
and that's what I'm teaching my kids is
But
that
I think yeah,
You know,
you're doing really good and everything, but it also comes down to where we came from, right? It's like okay, we're good with what we have because we've gone through a lot of
Because we
bad
had
stuff
nothing.
because we had nothing, right? And
I think that's more older generation mentalities too.
How so?
They're like, oh, we worked hard all of our childhood, and we're still working hard now. But whatever God gives us, I'm good with that.
right,
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so then that's when you're like, Dad, you know, you could have been a lot more, but you're just here.
Mhm.
He's like, because this is what God's giving me. So sometimes we grew up with that. We grew up with that mentality of as long as God provides whatever He provides, that's okay, which is all right and it's
Correct.
good. It's a good thing, but at the same time, you know, it connects all to the if you die, you know, the way that you want to die.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So God providing, I would say, would be He's providing all these tools. Now you're in the U.S.
Yeah.
Now you have these opportunities. So
Mhm.
it's still being provided for you, and I think it's like it's gonna help who helps himself, right? So if you just sit there and you're just like, well, this is all I got.
right.
That's all you're ever gonna have, right? But it's
My
like this
dad
is all
has
I
told me
got,
that, yeah.
but I can have that too. So let me work because God put that in front of me, or it's reachable, or it's in my hands to learn and grow and get there.
I
as
remember
well.
what my dad told me and my mom told me because they're both hard workers.
Horses.
My mom's a yeah,
She's a horse too.
yeah, she's a horse too.
using that.
But that wasn't a horse.
Before you get started,
Yeah.
there's a difference between complacency and being grateful. You know, being grateful is like, this is what I have and I'm grateful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Complacency is this is what I have and that's it.
And that's all. Oh, I like that.
Keep going.
Oh, ya se me fue lo que iba a decir.
Your
Yeah,
mom,
yeah,
your mom and
was
your
a
dad
wo-
were telling you,
horse-
and they're
horses.
horses. So are you a pony? Are you a pony?
My Little Pony.
I'm a pony. No.
No, you're not a unicorn.
Oh man.
Unicorns. Unicorns are special. I think I'm a unicorn.
Yeah.
In my family.
We do know that you're special.
Uy. So you were saying your mom
Ah,
se le fue.
My
gone.
bad. I knew that was gonna happen, but I just
So you had to.
couldn't
He's
let
like,
it go.
I read it on a book and I gotta
no, I
repeat
didn't
it.
read it on a book.
Yeah.
I just came up.
Oof, I
came
like
up
that.
with that right now.
So explain a little bit more about that. Just
Mhm.
like elaborate a little bit more.
So
Complacency.
So I think it's a matter of perspective, right? Some things are a matter of perspective, like how do you see the world, and it has to do a lot with your culture, right? And I try to get outside
I
of
remember,
what that
okay.
is. Like I try to get outside of as a Mexican immigrant, Conronian Christian. Like I try to get out of that and just leave the facts in and say this is what I think based on the stuff that I read, not
where I came from,
or
who I was,
or who I am,
who
right?
you are. Yeah.
Because a lot of what is now, it's like identity politics. It's like as a Mexican minority immigrant, this is what I believe,
Right.
and then you leave everybody out.
Right.
Instead of inclusion, that seems more of like exclusion. Like this is my perspective and nobody else.
Oh, okay.
Growing up with my parents, I remember now that they told me, look, if you're going to mess up in life and if you're going to be doing the stupid things that you're doing, I should have just stayed in Guatemala.
Wait, you're not Mexican?
No. That's not, you know.
You're one of his people.
Yeah. I'm a Chapin.
You are?
No.
No. But
But how does that make you feel?
I mean,
it gives me pressure because at the same time I have to show them that their time is worth that
Right.
of what they did. They immigrated illegally. You know, my dad came in the engine of a car, and my mom came in like crossing the river. And yeah, they instilled in me when I was little that don't mess up, because we should have just stayed over there if you are gonna mess
Right.
up.
But
that's
okay.
a lot of pressure, right? That's like that.
That's what they
It's too
told
much
me
pressure.
personally.
It's pressure, but it's also like
Motivation?
guilting
you
you
go.
into something that, like there's a lot to unpack there because it's like it's not your fault that they came here, right?
No.
It's not your responsibility of what they did and their actions,
Right.
right? So I think it's learning how, and it comes back to a lot, right? Like learning who you are, where you came from, understanding why your parents were motivated to do what they do, and understanding that however they communicate is how they were taught.
Yeah.
And you have to take whatever they are telling you and unpack it rather than take it at the surface level. Like if they tell you, no, me hubiera quedado en Guatemala, and then you're like, okay, what does that mean? They're trying to guilt me into something, but they're also trying to pressure me. They're trying to, so it's like a
It's more,
multifaceted thing where you don't take it personal and you try to unpack it and see where it comes from.
Yeah.
I think that's
which
a big
is,
point.
Which is a lot.
Not taking it personal and understanding how they're speaking,
Yeah.
right? Because we all communicate different, but it's like, what are they really trying to tell me here? But I think that's a very good.
It's hard.
No,
Yeah, and it is a lot of pressure. And sometimes, if you can't handle that pressure, is that helping you or is it not helping you? Right? Is that pressure making you do now maybe irrational ideas or
Right.
make you do other things that you probably wouldn't if you were not that pressured?
Right.
Because
Like
people,
proving them wrong.
right? You're like, this is why I'm doing it, to prove them wrong, to show my haters.
Right. Whenever it's like this person looks like he's speaking hate, right? Meaning like your parents like speaking like a guilt into you,
Right.
and then you're like, oh well, I'm gonna prove them wrong, and that's like another negative tone. So it's like negative tone. When in reality, it's like I love you so much that I'm trying to help you understand all the sacrifices that we did for you because we love you so much, and then you're saying, oh, I love you so much that I'm gonna make you proud so you can see what I did.
Right.
So in front of that hate is like behind that hate or that negative tone is like your true intentions.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you were to speak with your true intentions, that everybody would be a little bit happier, but it's hard because
very hard.
there's so much that we don't know.
Correct.
Yeah.
That explains it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not a therapist.
Oof, I like that.
Bring Theo over here.
Bring Theo. We need Theo over here to understand that part. And I think, like I said, yeah, that's a lot of pressure and understanding what people really mean when they say the words that they say.
Right.
And sometimes people do it
I do
unconsciously.
it with my kids too.
I do it. People do it unconsciously. Like it's just like
Your subconscious makes up like 80% of your thoughts.
right. So it's like not even trying to say something mean comes out mean when really you were just trying to say I love you.
Man, my wife tells me that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not mean to my kids. I just want to be direct to them. But I want to tell them that this is going to happen because if you keep on jumping on the bed, you're going to hit your head. But I have to tell them why. It's just not, hey, like our parents used to do and smack them, come after them.
So maybe you should let them fall. Or let them hit their head.
And that's what I tell my wife. Just let them go at it and they'll figure it out.
Mhm.
They sometimes have to figure it out.
Yeah, that's what Jordan Peterson says. It's like, watch them at a distance. Let them do dangerous things at a distance where you're there in order if some like a real emergency happens, but you let them fall if something happens too. Like my kid was playing in the scooter, like in his little hoverboard, and I saw him and I just heard something go pa, and then he just rolled, and I saw him, and then I was like, okay, where'd he go, right? Because he went into like a ditch or something.
Okay.
Yeah, he basically disappeared, and I didn't have a line of sight.
Right. The panic.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait 5 seconds to see where he's, and he gets up and he goes back and grabs his thing, and he keeps playing, and then he comes in and he's like, oh, I'm all bruised up. He had like a bruise here, a scrape here. And I was like, oh, yeah, I saw you fall. And he's like, and you didn't say anything? You didn't do anything?
Yeah,
and I was like, what was I supposed to do?
Like, you were going to get up. You were fine.
Right. I saw that you were fine. I saw that you got up. You picked up your scooter. That means you didn't have a broken bone.
Correct.
That means, you got a scrape. Okay, that's going to make you stronger,
Correct. And I think as parents, we normally would run out there. And, are you okay? Okay. So then in life, you grow up and you fall and you're like, no one's here to help me. They didn't get me ready for this.
What do you think whenever our parents used to say, or whenever we would fall, or a friend would fall, or whenever we were kids and be like, nobody look at him, nobody look at him.
No lo vean, no lo vean.
No se rían, no se rían, no se rían. Right.
Oh,
That's
man.
true. I mean, you cry out of like embarrassment sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I
I do
bumped
that now.
myself a lot and I hit myself a lot, and most of my stuff I had to go to the ER.
But you learned.
I learned what pain is.
And I think as adults, we don't do those same things.
No.
Would
'cause
you
I
ride a
learned.
bike right now on the ramp?
Nope.
Why?
Nope. Nope.
Because it could probably jeopardize
You're
his economics.
right. It's like soccer, right?
You
Like
just need your fingers.
a lot of people don't play sports anymore because it's like, okay, if I injure my ankle, I'm done for a
Or
whole
leg.
2 weeks of without income.
Mm-hmm,
It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
not gonna do that.
No. Yeah, so I don't do that. That's why I only play Mondays. And juke Luis Lil Tunel. I juked him twice, by the way. Just
Oh,
putting
yeah?
that out there.
We should have like a Pana league.
Who?
Pana?
Or
Is
is
that
it
the
like
na-
the king of like the Kings League?
No,
Kinda
Is
like
that the
that?
new league for Conroe that we're starting up? Taking sponsorships now?
It's more like of a little like 6x6 square,
Mm-hmm.
and it's you just have to nutmeg them.
Oh, I did that. I did it to this guy.
Mhm.
Do a what?
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
Like
when
what I
the
did
ball-
to you?
Uh-huh.
This guy.
Whenever the ball goes through the legs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
So if
yeah.
anybody wants to start a league, let us know.
Hey, I'm down.
You know,
Pana
I know a
league.
few people that would be down. We don't know what it looks like, but we can do it.
Hey, I could just add something else to
We
my
need
plate,
some
baby.
land. We get some land and put a
We'll
We'll,
land-
just,
field.
we'll just rent.
right here.
We'll
at the-
rent Carl Barton.
No, it's not even that. It's just
Oh,
right here in the parking lot.
By the way, that
This
field,
guy.
those fields are horrible. Oh my God, there's weeds.
You've
and-
never played in Los Amigos then?
I played one season.
That's
and
an
it wa-
ankle breaker.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
Los Amigos.
funny you said that earlier because when I was younger, I was like, "There's too many people getting hurt. I'm not playing here." Like, you know, I mean, I wasn't good anyway, so it's not like people wanted me there. But I was like, I'm not gonna pay to come play here and then get beat up. Like, too many
It was
people.
bad.
Yeah,
If I would have known, I wouldn't have played, but I didn't know.
You didn't know.
otherwise.
Yeah, and even real again because of the refs,
Now it comes
No-
back all to the same thing, you know.
the refs don't ref there.
Right. They walk and they point and
One
then they
ref.
get punched.
One ref for the whole aggressive ego
Mhm.
thing. But
And I'll
But
come- yeah.
I'm down for the soccer stuff. It's just add it to my. I'll stop the vending machines for the soccer stuff.
Well, we could do like a $5 in, and then it's like a bracket.
Boy, we're talking about a real league. We need to get our Conronians to beat
Yeah.
the
It-
Woodlands,
It's just for soccer,
like
Yeah.
real soccer.
not
Yeah.
not Pana league. Okay,
no,
I'm
we're
still
talking about, you know, maybe hiring a couple real coaches.
hiring.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
like
mean, how
that.
much would be their salary? You
About
know,
like $100 an hour.
yeah, like 50K. That's what they
That's
made.
year round.
That's what they made with
No,
this
probably for like the season.
50K.
year round as a part-time job.
Yeah, that's all we need. I mean, we need just we can make
Have
our
like 2 good coaches.
2 good coaches
I mean,
for like 2-3
they charge
divisions.
$40 for a league. I mean, I
Man,
would
50K,
pay, you know, a little bit more than that.
200 for
500
6 games.
500 is reasonable for
500
for a league.
for a
6
league.
games, 10 games.
No, it would probably like 4 months. For 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months, $500. 5 times, let's say 300 students. How much is that?
15.
We just gotta make the math, make it
Yeah,
work.
we can make the math, and we'll start. You'll start coaching.
I mean, I'm down.
I mean, or even that.
If it's
I mean,
serious, like I think a lot of like people that are true fans that grew up in Conroe, that played in Conroe leagues, that have seen the mediocrity of what we have,
Conroe soccer.
they'll be like, okay, like let's invest in the way that, you know, Americans invest into football, you
Mhm.
know, like American football, like
Yeah.
they're all in at the very beginning.
yeah, there's football
Yeah,
leagues everywhere.
there's flag leagues, there's, you know, tackle football at the very young age. Like, yeah, we have like the Conroe League, and that's awesome, but that's just recreational.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, you know, setting up a league for professionals
Yeah.
the way they did it over there.
Yeah. Let's do it. Take notes. Hit us up. We'll get it going. It'll be
Yeah.
a non-profit too, so businesses can join.
Yep.
Ya está
That's
todo.
our nonprofit.
Damn. Let's do it. You ready?
We've
or
been
what?
talking about doing a nonprofit for a while, but we don't know what it was.
There it is. All right. So where can they find you?
Where can they find me? They can find me on Facebook as Christian Samayoa. They can find me on as Texas Paper Plug V2. And if you need toilet paper towels, remember I'm here to help out. No taxes, free deliveries if I'm in the area. Conroe, Montgomery, Willis, yes sir.
Real quick, with the no taxes thing,
I take care of the taxes on my part.
is that good for business?
It's competitive, makes it competitive. Again, my margins aren't the best either, so I have to be competitive with the free delivery as well.
So since we talked about scalability
Taxes are built into the pricing as well.
already.
Mm-hmm.
But por eso te digo, so taxes, everybody's known when you buy something, you pay sales tax.
Yeah.
So is that,
Somebody pays them.
Somebody has to pay them,
what is it?
and that's somebody's.
As a
name.
customer, I go to a store, I know this, it's like, oh, $19.99, okay, plus tax.
Yeah.
Like, it's already in here.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt you?
No.
Could it be better if you didn't pay the taxes?
If I made the people pay the taxes
Have you tried it?
with card,
You know,
there's cash price, and then there's card.
But that card doesn't go to you, that fee.
No, the fee does not go to
that's
me.
2.9%
Yeah.
plus 30 cents.
Plus 10 cents a transaction.
Yeah.
If it's keyed in. If it's American Express, you're losing even more.
So that's
Sorry,
where
my mind just goes. Go
but
ahead.
then that's why I started. I left Venmo, Cash App, and Zelle for that same reason. Is that I am trying to better my accounts with like business
Right.
loans and eventually get a house where we could all fit. You know, because we're a little cramped in my house, and
And that's the problem with scalability. Like how I'm telling you, like you can accept, like as a beginning, you can accept Cash App, cash, and all these different types of transactions. But as you scale, and then you get an accountant, and they're like, "Oh, can I see your bank statement so I can see your growth throughout the 5 years?" You're like, "Well, I got to pull cash from here, got to pull over here," and then it's like that's not scalable,
No.
right? Like, well, then you're gonna hire somebody to manage your accounts. So that's why they tell you, small business, open a business account separated from your personal
if you're a
account.
small business, if you're a small business and you're starting out, don't even do an LLC yet.
Right.
Just work a year or two as a part-time, as an extra income, but don't build it yet as an LLC for that same reason. Because then people see all these things on Facebook. They make an LLC. I had a friend contact me about an LLC, which is not
I
bad.
can help them.
Yeah. But like with an LLC, todo eso, and then open up a bank account, and then but their business, but they don't they have to understand that they have to use their business accounts. They have to pay sales tax. They have to pay all those
Right.
taxes on everything like that. And from making your LLC like $300, $400, $500, it's not. You have to have, in order to get a bank loan, you have to have income towards that business.
Correct. So let me give you just my opinion because you're grinding my gears. I recommend the opposite, right? I recommend you get your LLC. Okay, once you're established, which means if you're doing it small things, like if you're not at least above $1,000 a month, maybe no. But if you're making more than $1,000 a month, I would say get it, because those $300 to $400 to $500 that you want to save on an LLC, if you understand how the LLC works, it's going to benefit you way more to have it, even if you're at the negative, right? What does that mean? That means even if you're not making big profits, right? Even if you're spending $100 and you make your product and you're only making 120, right? So you're making $20 profit. Even that, or even if you're just cutting even that is going to give you a lot more benefits at the end of the year with what you can write off and the benefits that you can get and different things that'll benefit you more than just trying to run it as a sole proprietor, because Uncle Sam's going to come for you regardless.
Oh, he's going to come.
So it's better. So I recommend people, once you're established right now, if you're making small T-shirts and things like that, maybe not yet. But now if you're starting to do it where you're getting orders, or if you got moonwalks or anything else that's out there that's producing you at least $1,000 or more,
you want to get an LLC for sure, but you have to understand and I think that's the difference in where we're at, where people don't understand that, because that was me too, right? So even with the store bought in the store, we're open for business. I was like, I'm just gonna run it as a sole proprietor. I'm saving money, ha ha ha. No, like I ended up paying more taxes. I lost on a lot of credits that I could have got when if I would have just paid those $300 to get my LLC to start. So 8 months into it, they're like, well, now you have to pay this much in your first year. I'm like, what? I'm not even making money. Okay, but the money came into your store. What you did with it doesn't matter. It came into your store.
Yeah.
So I recommend.
But is that an LLC or just the way that you broke down your income and your write-offs?
It has to be an LLC. Well, I mean, it's either LLC or incorporated, or doing business as, which doing business as is just still you. That's your social security. So you want the LLC and the EIN that it's like, I'm not making my money. This LLC is making the money. This LLC has bills. This LLC is doing all that. The gas that I have to pay. You know, like you say lunch, right? You still got to go to H-E-B and buy your lunch to take to work. Yeah. Right? That's a write-off. Because if you didn't have that business, you wouldn't have to spend that money. Right? So why not take that credit that you're already spending that you have to spend anyway? So I would say still do it, because the way you got to think about it is, if I don't have this business, would I make this expense? Right? It's like my gas. If I didn't have this business, I wouldn't be spending so much gas. So my business pays for the gas. Right. And that's a write-off for me. And if I didn't have a business, I wouldn't have to come eat at this restaurant down the road. I would have ate at the house or at my job where I'm at.
But then all these write-offs, if you are trying to purchase something, you know, like a house or bank loan, that's where they see, oh, you're doing too many write-offs on your taxes, and
you don't have enough income.
You don't have enough income.
Correct. So so what the banks want to see is the income. They don't care about your write-offs. They care about what income is coming in. Right. If you're writing it all off, it doesn't matter. The bank says, regardless, you're bringing in $50,000 a month. Yeah. Regardless of how much bills you have and all that, the income's coming in, you're writing it off, and this is what your profit is at. That's what they care about, right?
Have you guys noticed that the new $50,000 is the new $20,000?
Like the bracket? Like in terms of what it's worth?
Yeah, like nowadays, probably. Like $50,000 is like what?
$100 is the $20.
Yeah.
50,000 is.
I mean, it helps people. If there's two people working in the household making 50,000 each and 100,000, and if you're living below your means, yeah, you can make it.
Right.
But now it's just like that's
50K. Yeah, it seems like a lot, but it's not enough.
Really not.
Yeah, because the poverty line, what is it, like
35?
30, yeah, I would say 30. I mean, McDonald's employees are making $17,000 a year.
No.
That's crazy. That's that's crazy. But
you
but yeah,
don't realize where you're at until you like start comparing your income or your brackets or whatever it is. You know, like I put my head down and I just, you know, and then I came up and I was like, what happened?
You know, thinking, hey, I made it, I'm here and everything, and you're
not
like,
even close.
Yeah, no, yeah,
not even
you
close.
Start all over again.
Right. So yeah, so anybody I would say, yeah, just get informed. The main thing is getting informed and not being afraid of these LLCs, not being afraid of a business account or a business loan or whatever. Just asking questions, and 9 out of 10 times the banker's going to give you the information you need because they want your account, but they're going to tell you how to do it.
Right, and for free.
For free. If you need LLC help, I got you, but there's a fee.
Ray's got you.
So what do you guys think? Asking a question about you guys helping me. Cash price is the cash price, but if I start implying taxes because of card,
so taxes is something that's not even yours, and as a customer, you understand that money's not going to you. That's paying taxes to the state. So that should come with it. Now, there's some people, right? So if I buy something for $5, right, and I'm selling it for 10. Taxes is 81 cents. 10 is 81 cents. So maybe I can be like, hey, I'm gonna sell it at $11.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still getting the taxes and I'm still gonna pay it, but I'm also making a little bit more profit because I'm only gonna pay the Texas comptrollers 81 cents of that, right? But so if that's the idea, yeah. But I wouldn't say if it's $5 and then I'm trying to save the taxes and it would be 1081 and I'm still selling it at 10. I still got to pay those 81 cents.
Exactly.
So I'm really only making 9 something, 19, and I made five of it was for the product. So I'm making 4.19. So then I'm cutting myself, right? But for what? For what purpose?
Right.
And
It
that's
just
where
depends.
that purpose, I guess for me, it's more of helping out the
Helping.
community, knowing that they can,
My phone died.
that they can save.
Correct. So one thing real quick I want to tell you. Yes, you want to help the community, but at what stake? At what no.
What cost?
At
It's
what-
coming out of your pocket,
At what
right?
cost,
That's-
right? So it's like,
I've been eating a lot of costs.
yeah.
For,
So
for a very
so
long time.
so again, you have to, because that was my remember we, like a year ago we used to have this conversation where I'd be like, man, I feel like I need to go a little cheaper, but why do I go cheaper? Customers are gonna go down the road and pay for it anyway.
And they're still gonna try to find somebody else that's cheaper.
Right. So
Right.
they're still gonna like it, and what you want to sell is your service, not just the toilet paper. The service of I'm bringing it to you.
Right.
Right. It's $20, but it's 21. I'm sure it's like $20, 21.14 is the
Right.
taxes or something. It's 21.14. Like that's what it is. Like, and it's like understanding that yes, I'm doing you the favor, but I also have to provide for my family. I also am trying to grow my business. I also want to do better things. And then understanding like now that I'm selling it and my profits are better, now I can buy bigger containers and then now I'm saving more that way. Does
And
that make
providing
sense?
better service as well.
Right.
So
Right.
from my point of view is, first you have to find out who your customers are, right? Like, are you the guy that people are gonna want to, like, your flea market type of company, or are you like your reseller type of company, or are you like the Walmart, right? Seems like you're more like the reseller type, where like you can buy in bulk, you can get discounts on not on the store, but on the bigger stuff, right? Like you're stripping down the packaging, right? You're getting rid of all the stuff, but you're maintaining the product's integrity, right?
Right.
And people know that. I think finding out who your audience is very important, like who you're going to market to. And it's important also not to give discounts on new customers. Like new customers don't deserve a discount
No.
because they need to be invested. They need to be what is the word called? Like they need to like clear the what is it called? Like when you're a hot lead and then you become a customer, like you need to like have that buy-in, right?
Yeah.
They need to be able to say, okay, like Apple, right? Like you go in there, they know who their customers are.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they have weeded out all the people that can't afford their product.
And
Right.
they don't care about them, and they're
Right.
not trying to market to them,
And they're not going to give you a discount.
Yeah.
You can go to Apple and can have a sales tax discount.
get your ass out of here.
Right. So it's like, but if you're an existing customer like T-Mobile, they'll tell you,
You've
like,
been with us for a while. Get a discount or get an Apple Watch 50%. Like
right.
they're gonna give you that.
Incentives, right?
Incentives,
They're
right.
called incentives to keep you there,
Yeah.
right? So you can keep giving discounts to your current people and say 10% off or whatever that is. But I would figure out who your clients are, who your customers are, and market to them.
Yeah,
you know.
that's the biggest thing. It's like I said last week. I used to have some stuff that we would sell that would cost me like 3 cents, and I would sell it for $5. That's a big margin,
Oh yeah.
and those
Huge
fly,
margin.
right? But that would bring me a certain customers.
Popcorn.
Like we said yesterday, like that would bring me certain customers that I didn't want to deal with. That it was like, yes, my profit is there. Like with one sale, I can buy a whole bunch more,
Yeah.
but I weeded them out, right? And we've gone over this where it's like now my customers are these, and this is what I'm gonna focus on regardless. If and it sounds bad, right? But if you can't afford it, then it's not for you, and it is what it is. And people know when they come to the store, they're gonna pay a little bit more and like, oh, gas station sells it. We'll go to the gas station.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Have a good day. It's like this is what but I'm selling them that we know who we're buying from. We know the manufacturers. It is USDA approved or it is in a USDA facility. We check the COAs. What's in the product? We check it. So that's what you're buying. You're not just buying this gummy or
Product
whatever,
itself, yeah.
right? I'm selling you all of that.
Like from whenever they get like Jewel, whenever they had their fiasco a couple of years ago, where they were probably going to stay on the market or they weren't going to stay on the market.
Right.
you know, and then that's where the counterfeit started coming in. and
Correct,
everything.
correct. And it's knowing that. And people tell me, they'll come in, they're like, man, I bought this one for $10 and it went out in a day. I'm like, okay, there you go. So you're gonna buy
Right.
ours for 20, and it's gonna last you to 3 to
Mhm.
5 days.
Yeah.
But you know that, and they know, and they come in here willing to do that. Same thing with you, right? Like, I know this paper is good quality. I've bought from him before, so I know this is what he's selling. Plus, he's bringing it to me. Plus, he's friendly. Plus, he's there when I need
Right.
him. Plus, he's on, you know, okay, you know what? It's almost the same as HEB or whatever, just throwing it out there. It's almost the same price as HEB, but I'm helping someone local. He brings it to me, right? It's
And
a,
delivery.
and
Yeah.
delivery. Like,
Like-
okay, so I'm going to pay the same price, but now it's, and people love that it's local. People love, so using that idea too, that it's local,
Right.
and it's keeping that, because
You have to productize every bit of your service, right? It's not just the toilet paper. It's your service, your availability, your how you package it, how you communicate. All that is a product, not just the toilet paper. It's like your delivery is a product, right? There's whole Uber is an industry of just delivery.
Right.
What is Uber? Delivery,
Yeah.
right? Transportation. That's it. They don't have a product. That is their product.
right.
So
And
it's
people
like-
pay
Yeah,
extra for that.
Yeah. Have you ever had like a haircut place person that goes to your house and cuts your hair?
I haven't paid for them, but I've heard of their
Right.
prices.
They're
yeah.
a little bit higher than having a salon,
Yeah.
right? And it's like you understand that because it's delivery, you're gonna pay
You're
a little
gonna
bit
pay
more.
a little bit more.
Just like Uber Eats, right? You see that delivery fee, and you're like, well, I could get out of my way or go, or have somebody come here.
I haven't had
Correct.
that luxury either. but
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and that's the difference, right? And understanding that, and the customers know. They
They know. that.
know. Like,
And if they don't know, and they're expecting you
cheap.
to bear the brunt of those, then that's the customers that you're gonna attract.
Right. Then that's all you're gonna get is the cheap people. That'll be like, oh, I only have 19, and then you give in. Be like, okay, next time, hey, I only have 19 again.
yeah.
Then you're like,
Yeah.
right, and then you start building that. And then one thing earlier that he said is giving the customers that discount. I used to do that, and then as a customer, if I'm getting this $20, but he always gives it to me at 15, that's not worth $20.
No.
So I'm not gonna pay $20 ever again for that,
And
because
you, as a business owner, devalue.
then I devalued my own. So now it's like, oh, you've been coming here for 3 to 6 months. Here's a 20% off. Oh,
Yeah.
you've been coming here for a year. Here's a 30% off. Oh, it's your birthday. Here's a 10% off, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
And we don't see that, but like Walmart's doing that.
Yeah.
Like Apple's doing that. They take this that didn't cost them that much, right, to make. I mean, it cost them a lot, but not what you're paying,
Right.
But they build value onto it by providing the storefront. It's nice. All the employees are knowledgeable. They have the Guinness bar. They have these nice boxes. Like the packaging itself is a product. But what do you do with that packaging? You strip it away. But what are people paying for? They're paying for the packaging, the brand,
Yeah.
on top of the product.
right.
So everybody should do that. Ray's doing that. I'm doing that. You should do that too. Like build value into the product rather than
Just-
strip it away and
right.
say it's just a product. Not
It's
that you're
just-
doing that, but like every product you can build a service around, and you can productize everything, right? You can productize the bundles, and then whatever, if the numbers work, then you can
Correct.
do that too.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just like I said, play with your profit, but don't cut yourself too much.
Too short, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you go under, they're just gonna go get toilet paper somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. They're not gonna be like, oh, hey, I remember you. Here's 20 to pay your rent.
No.
No.
One thing that I learned from, freelancing books that talk about, because when I started, I was just a designer. Like I just knew design, like how to make something look good, right? But finances, I didn't know, right? It's like, how much should I charge? I don't know. How much it could be from 100 to 100,000. Where am I at, right? And I first started it off, do your budget at home and figure out how much you can make, how much you have to make to survive
Every day.
every day. And that's what I did. It's like, okay, I need to make, $30 an hour for
Question to the audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many of you guys know what you have to make every single day in order to come out
right.
profitable?
Mhm.
And how much is your expenses per day?
And it has to do with your personal expenses as a self-employed. Like your personal expenses
It's totally
are
different.
direct correlation with how much you're making at a business too.
Yes.
Like Like you can't have a huge personal life, and where's it gonna come out of?
Yep.
You know,
That's the biggest thing.
Mhm.
But
so
yeah,
you have to know like how much you're making, how much you need, like your bills at home, your mortgage, everything, and then your business has to make that much and more, right? For taxes
Imagine
and profit.
that. And taxes, profit, and all that. And at the same time, your own business. Your own household income as well.
Right.
correct.
You know,
Yeah.
and then your business. Like we were talking
Right.
about that. Like, you know, having a business, a brick and mortar, you have to add the water, the light, the Wi-Fi, the products, everything.
Right.
Every single day you're starting off negative $150, $200, $250,
Correct.
including your house bills.
Right.
And-
And that's also
And
in
that's
the price.
more, yeah, and that's in the price, and that's even more. That's another $200, $300.
So you have to add all that into your product.
Mhm.
I know it seems like people don't care about that. Like, well, I don't have to pay for your bills. Well, yeah, you do.
Right. You do
Who else
this.
is gonna pay for my bills if it's not this product? You know,
Exactly.
it's my job as a business owner to make it enticing for you to buy my product, whatever it is. Right?
Yeah.
It could be like, well, Walmart is giving me this toilet paper, but I'm giving it to you. I'm handing it to you personally. You know,
Mhm.
that's the advantage.
That's a service.
You know, that's a service in itself, and that could be the advantage of winning somebody over.
Right. This
to
is
buy
why
it.
those Cokes that you buy at the refrigerator are like $3, and you go buy in the back a 2-liter bottle for like $2.
Yeah.
Right. You're paying for that convenience. It's
Mhm.
cold. It's there.
That's why
It's
it-
instant. I open. I drink.
The stores are also called convenience stores.
There you go. You're paying for that extra
Mm.
convenience.
And
stuff
in
like
at the movies, you know, you have those $7 Cokes
Yeah.
that. And the
and this
popcorn.
$14 popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
And how much is the popcorn? Like to make?
Popcorn is like 25 cents to
Right.
make.
So how do you create it yourself, right? How do you create a movie theater for your people? You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
and that's
Service.
every business's job, is to create that movie theater experience for that.
Yeah, and all this conversation ties into, for those that are listening, whenever you're starting your business as well. Hopefully you guys can take out something from what we're saying.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, yeah, narrow it down, but don't cut yourself too thin.
Right.
You know, like make it like I would say if you have 100 customers that are paying $20, but you can get 50 or let's say 75 customers that'll pay $30. You know, your margin is gonna be better. Now, if you have 50 customers that are willing to pay $100, but you're throwing combos, you're doing toilet paper, detergent, this on a weekly basis, or maybe subscriptions could be another thing that just popped in my head.
Exactly.
Right? Like every 2 weeks, I'm gonna deliver on Monday. It's gonna be
Right.
$1 less, but it's guaranteed money. Now you can build your budget for the next 6 months because you have 100 people that are already subscribed for you.
Subscriptions can be good because, like, Amazon have them. I don't know if you've ever gone to Amazon and bought like a supply, like let's say you're gonna buy soap or something, and they'll
Yeah.
tell you subscribe and save 10 cents.
Yeah.
You know, and you subscribe and you stop worrying about it, and then it just keeps coming and coming and coming. You know,
That's a good
there's
idea,
a lot of
guys.
things you could do to productize your product. You know, restaurants do it, like they upscale restaurants. What do? They provide valet.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
They provide nice ambiance. They have the waiters come in and be like, you know, with their little mantel.
Looks
And
so good. Sounds good, guys. Well, all right, you guys know where to find him. Texas Paper Plug V2 on Facebook. And his phone number is, because y'all can text him.
936-648-5226. Let me know what you want. If you want a menu, I can send you the menu. Just let me know. And if I'm in the area, free deliveries, of course. And if you need something the next day, 12 hours, or just text me whenever you want. Just don't text me at night or else my
No, hey, if I need toilet paper at midnight, I'm texting you. And you're going to deliver for $20.
on the spot.
There you go. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
peace.